Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and welcome to the first inaugural episode of the XR Update podcast. I will be your host for the week. My name is Wes. I wear many hats, but I guess today I am the editor in chief of XR Update, and again, your host for the episode. Joining me today are my esteemed colleagues from the Impact Reality team, or the XR Update team, or the Flat2VR Studios team. They all wear a lot of hats as well. And I guess I'll just go down the line here and let them introduce themselves in case some of you aren't familiar with them. I guess we'll start with you, Eric. How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing awesome, man. I finally made a show. I had 15 shows to do this weekend and Monday, and I actually finally made one. So it's good to be here. It's good to be.
How are you feeling?
Are
you feeling okay?
I am medicated highly for this segment. So we'll see how this goes. This is gonna be fun.
Why are you medicated? What happened to you?
Yeah, I know. Everybody's been like asking, like, what's going on. I broke a tooth. It's very, very stupid. I broke a tooth and it has become infected. I need a root canal. But I can't get the root canal until like Thursday. So I'm basically just stuck in pain with an infected broken tooth until Thursday when they root canal it. So that'll be fun. I'm always looking forward to something like that. So yeah.
Well, broken tooth sucks, but hopefully at least you learned your lesson. Watch what you say, bro.
True. What you say.
Todd, if you would like to introduce yourself and maybe introduce Eric at the same time and let everyone here know who you are as if they don't already.
Yeah, well, Eric and I are members of QTC VR Gamer, but Eric is also the COO here at Impact Reality. I am in charge of Impact Labs, who's our playtest group here in Impact Reality, and also a writer for XR Update.
Thank you, Todd. That's awesome. Jasmine, I think I've known you for almost 2 years now, but I don't think I've ever hosted you on a podcast. And that's a little weird because I host a lot of podcasts, and I don't know if you're aware. But introduce yourself, please, if you don't mind.
I know I was doing so well until this one. Hey, everybody. I'm Jasmine, CEO of Impact Reality Flat2VR Studios. And yeah, super excited for this podcast.
We're excited for it as well. Skeeva, glad to be back on the air with you again, brother. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
How you been?
Dude, I'm doing good. So yeah, I'm Skeeva, CIO of Impact Reality and Flat2VR Studios. Super excited to launch this XR Update podcast. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We can kind of dive into all the things XR Update and see what's happening in the industry. Stoked to be here. Let's go.
Awesome. Katya, this is kind of a first for you, right? Like you don't do a lot of podcasts like everyone else on here.
That's why I feel nervous today.
No, there's no reason to be nervous.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching this, okay?
Yeah, and you're not around a lot of veterans and people that have won awards for their podcasts. It's okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
All right, so let's do this.
so
Since Katya is a little bit nervous, let's tell everyone who she is, because Katya is a very important member of our team and is really what makes us operate as smoothly as we do behind the scenes. She's a fucking rock star. Excuse my French. But everybody loves you, Katya. You should.
Oh, thank you. Even my voice is back here. Well, sorry about that. I'm so excited today because this is my first time being part of such an amazing podcast with all these celebrities. So yeah, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, Katya, you should say like what you do at Impact, because like I mean, Wes did a good job of introing you, but like, you know, you are like definitely an integral part, and I don't know if a lot of this community knows like what you do. So
yeah, I'm brand manager with Impact Reality. I also project lead, but I'm also the CEO of Cyberspine Games. It's a Canadian company, developer and publisher of Boombox VR. So I'm very excited because this is the first time I'm doing so much marketing in like such an intense settings with this amazing team. So I'm excited because I can also speak up for the developers and how important what everything you guys do is for the developers, but also as a marketing expert now, thanks to all this team.
Well,
Awesome.
you're clear already because Classy Grandma says we love you, Katya. So you're good to go.
Hmm.
You're good. Classy Grandma loves you.
You
You're fine. You're in.
You have the classy grandma stamp of approval. No, I think your perspective is going to be pretty important on this show going forward. As we'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but kind of the developer perspective is going to be something that kind of sets us apart and kind of examining the space from a behind the scenes perspective. So I think people are going to grow to love you pretty quickly. And last but not least, Alex, I feel like a bit of a fraud here, man. You're the professional host on the panel, but somehow I drew the short straw to host the first episode. Glad to be back on the air with you as well.
Brother, it is always an honor to share the spotlight with you. There's plenty of room in there for both of us. You know, you are an amazing podcast host yourself, but I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I'm Alex. I am co-host of the Between Realities podcast with my buddy Skeeva here. Yes, I appreciate calling out the award winning. We did win an Augie at AWE 2024.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. Can we see it?
I mean, since you want to see it, there it is.
He
In all
sleeps
of
with
its
that thing.
beautiful glory.
Never leaves his side.
Yeah, I keep telling Skeeva I'm going to bring it back to his place so he can have it, but I'm just
never
going to
happen.
keep moving the goalpost.
Don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you.
It's a pleasure to be here. I have very, very recently joined the Impact Reality Flat2VR Studios team, and I am so excited. It doesn't really feel like it because I've just been like traveling to events with everybody here for the past 2 years anyway.
Well, everybody assumed that you were already working with us.
A lot of people did. There's a few people that I told, I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm working for Impact. They're like, did you already work for Impact? I'm like, no,
Right.
No, I didn't. But it's really, really awesome. I'm so stoked to be a part of this. I've been working in the haptic space for a few years, specifically the past couple of years, like enterprise training and like military simulation training and stuff. But I'm a gamer. Everybody here knows that. So to be working with this incredible team, to be focused on games and developers, helping them be successful, helping them make their games as good as possible, and being just completely focused on all the aspects of this industry that I love. I couldn't be happier. So thanks for having me. And I am stoked to be a part of this.
Welcome back to gaming.
Glad to have you.
It's great.
VR gaming.
So glad to have you.
It's beautiful.
Are you a gamer? Are you a gamer? Oh my God.
I might be a gamer. It's not a phase, Mom.
I'm pretty sure that most of us are. And that's kind of the pretty special thing about our company and how this has all come together over the course of the last couple of years, less than 2 years. I mean, it was less than 2 years ago that I started traveling to these trade shows and I met you all in person for the first time. And I remember it like it was yesterday because you specifically, Alex, came up to me. I guess it was in the Vegas CES 2 years ago and said, this is your life now. This is what you're going to do now. And at that time I was doing completely different kind of work. I was nowhere near the tech space. And I thought, man, that would be great. Wouldn't that be great if that were true? And not only is that true now, but the fact that we're all together working toward the same goals to build the same company and make XR what we all know it can be is a pretty special thing. So that's why I'm glad that you're all kind of joining for the first episode here. And I guess for the viewers, we should probably talk a little bit about what are we doing here? What is this channel all about? Are we just coming on here? Yeah, right. This is the XR Update channel. You know, we all have our own podcasts and our own platforms and our own socials and things, and we're all promoting XR 24/7 as it is already. But we feel like there's a pretty unique opportunity here because there's a lot of stuff that kind of goes on behind the scenes, things that happen behind closed doors and under the rug that a lot of people out there would be interested in, but we don't ever really get a proper opportunity to share that with people. So we're just going to meet here each week. We might have guests on with us, people from the industry. And some weeks we might just come on here just to talk about the news of the day, but take a unique perspective with it. But I do think that we're going to have a pretty unique show here and some pretty unique content on the channel going forward. I won't be hosting every week. I know some of you are going to absolutely love that. Some of you maybe not, but we're going to rotate out. I mean, not only are these people here my coworkers and my friends, but they're also my co-hosts, and we're all going to rotate out. It won't
We have
be
a lot
weekly.
more too, right, Les? There's some people here that like couldn't be here today, but like, I think you'll see some Miles Dyer mixed in from time to time. He was going to try and be here, just
Indeed.
couldn't be here tonight. You might see some Natasha Fahey come in from time to time to help
Elliot
out.
Tate.
Yeah,
There's
Elliot Tate.
so many people behind the scenes that are just trying our best to push the VR industry forward as much as we can, help people make the best games that they can, get it in front of all the people that love VR. And yeah, there's so many of us, and we just want to talk to you all about what we're doing.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
work
even
intimately with a lot of developers at Impact Reality, and like I said, I'm joining at an amazing time because the clients are just like coming in, like continuously coming in. And I'm sure you've seen some of the games that Impact has worked with before, like Ghost of Tabor, for example, just a slight name drop of one.
A little bit of a name drop there. Yeah.
But the thing is we have all these intimate and like behind closed doors conversations with these developers, and we work so intimately with them. And we would like to give them a platform to come on and share some of that insight with us on a podcast where it is, I guess, like, what's the word? Appropriate to do that. Like we all have our own podcast, but doesn't necessarily mean it's appropriate to like grab clients and grab partners and stuff like that and put them on there and start going through that stuff. So we're hoping that we can use this as an outlet to give you that insider look to the developer perspective with all the clients and partners that we're working with.
Yeah, and Jasmine, maybe we see some Flat2VR Studios developers come on.
Yeah, that would be
how cool would it be to have
Yeah.
Rocky Parter come on, or
That'd be great.
or Cabalistic, or some of the other awesome people, some Team Beef maybe.
They are working very diligently on
No break for them.
games. Okay.
They have no time.
But you know what? We'll talk to the producer and see how we can slot this into their very busy game development schedule.
Definitely ask her and see if she'll let you. If anybody doesn't know, Jasmine's the producer on all of our current titles. So
yeah.
So that's going to be that I expect will be a frequent topic of conversation in the coming weeks and months, as there is a lot going on behind closed doors. And we're not quite ready to announce anything yet, but Eric, I mean, I don't think it'll be super long anymore, will it?
no, I mean, I think everybody, if you haven't seen yet, Jamie Feltham, announced the VR show, the new VR showcase that's going to be coming August 15th. And we are super happy here to be a part of that showcase. So, during that showcase, stay tuned, tell everybody about it, because we will be showing what Flat2VR Studios has been working on for the better part of a year, a year and a half.
And I just want to say I'm like so excited to share it with everybody. I actively have to like shut myself up. But soon all will be revealed. Stop asking.
Yeah.
And
it is hard to bite your tongue.
Don't stop asking.
I hear that in August there's also Gamescom, and there might be some games being demoed there too. So
Gamescom,
maybe in Germany, come hit us up.
We know nothing about that show.
We are part of the Megabooth. Who doesn't want to be part of a Megabooth? Like, I don't want to be part of a booth. Look, I don't want to be part of a booth. I want to be part of a
No,
Megabooth.
booths are boring.
All right, Skeeva, why don't you break down this Megabooth situation? What's going on at Gamescom?
Please.
Man, so there is
at
Gamescom in Cologne, Germany this August. There is going to be a massive XR booth with some of the biggest and all of VR in this booth. So within the mega booth, there are many smaller booths, and in there are studios like Flat2VR Studios, like Vertigo Games and Fast Travel Games and In Dreams and Combat Waffle and Beyond Frames, and like it's like the best of the best. And if you are going to Gamescom, that is where you're going to be wanting to hang out. Trust me, there's like a lounge in there. It's just going to be ultra sick.
I think we should be clear, because I have had some question about this from my own community, and Gamescom is largely a consumer facing event, but unfortunately the home of XR is not going to be on the consumer floor, right? This is an event for industry insiders, content creators, and media. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, so it's super special VIP area, and if you need to get in there somehow, ask Eric.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, Eric, I
mean,
need to get in there, bro.
Yeah, right.
I need to get in
That's
there.
real.
I mean, if you look, if anybody is going to happen to be in Germany, message me. I'll figure out a ticket for you. But yeah, I mean,
I know a couple.
Eric.
I mean, seriously, if you could get there, I mean, this will probably. You've never seen a conglomerate of large VR companies get together, work together to make something like this big before. This is a happening that we really haven't seen before. Maybe some OCs, maybe OC6, you maybe had a few got together, but nothing I don't think on this scale. I mean, guys, you've got Vertigo Games, Fast Travel Games, Combat Waffle Studios, In Dreams, Soul Assembly, B Haptics is going to be in there. Our friends over at Hubris, Cyborn, they're going to be showing a new mixed reality game in this booth. There's a lot of even smaller, and then again, of course, Flat2VR Studios, but there's a lot of even smaller, booths that are going to be inside this 5,500 square foot space.
Nice.
That will be showing off as well. And if you can find yourself in there, I would want to make sure that any VR fan could get in there. I'll do what I can.
I just dropped a link to the Beyond Frames announcement that announced all the games and when it is and
perfect.
all the industry stuff.
Yeah, and if you all only knew how much effort it took, how many people really had to rally together to make this happen. So it's a big deal that this is happening for the VR industry, that we have this like dedicated area in Gamescom, arguably like the biggest games convention conference in the world. But also the fact that like there was enough passionate VR people to want to do this, to put this together and really make the dream happen. And yeah, if you can be there for the first one, I think this is the start of something exciting.
Shout out to Maeva from Beyond Frames.
You took the words out of my mouth. I wanted to shout out Beyond Frames in general, because I mean that's a studio, a company that's absolutely killing it. We often sit back in amazement of where we've all come from, and in the last 2 years. But it's very much a similar story for Beyond Frames. 2 years ago, that was an unknown. And now they're at the forefront of the industry with regard to VR gaming. So I think it's a pretty incredible what they're doing over there. And the fact that they've kind of spearheaded this effort to put together the home of XR is just the latest of a long line of accolades for Beyond Frames. So shout out to Maeva, shout out to Beyond Frames. They're doing an amazing job.
Yep. Jasmine, we got our first taker, Verified Games, emailed me. He needs a ticket.
I'm pretty sure Looper the Underground Game Cat wants to get in there as well. He was asking questions right away. As soon as we put that press release out, he was all over it, bro.
He's been in chat saying the same thing. Yeah. He's like a 2-hour train right away or something, he said. Nice. So.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
Yep.
Awesome. Alex, we've often talked, amongst ourselves about how there's this need at these conventions for the XR studios to have their own space, because we often go to these things and unless it's AWE, typically the XR is sprinkled amongst the sea of other tech and traditional games. Are you hopeful, as I am, that this home of XR at Gamescom kind of starts a trend that will extend beyond this one event?
Certainly hopeful, right? Like, to your point, if you're walking around on a game show floor and like you happen to see one headset peppered in there, like amongst a whole line of booths, like maybe you're not super incentivized to like stop and get involved if you're not already like a VR person. But this super booth is hopefully going to be like a whirlpool. It's like so intense and so big, like it's a gravitational pull to get pulled in there and like actually get into some VR. You don't have to like run from one side of the room to a whole other side of the conference to get into another VR demo. Like everything will be right there, and you can pop in and out of headsets, try different games and experiences, maybe put on a B Haptics vest, maybe try the new Flat2VR game that'll be demoing there, maybe or maybe not, I don't know. So seems like a pretty amazing plan, and I'm certainly excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, me as well. Todd, have you got your tickets yet. I know
I
you're,
have
you're
not,
on your
but
way.
I am. I'm definitely still trying to figure out how to get there because Gamescom has always been on my bucket list. That and Tokyo Game Show. So this
Yeah.
seems to be the year to go. So
Yeah, what's the holdup?
oh,
Just
you
do
know,
it, bro. Just
I
do
don't-
it.
Do it, bro.
What am I, a Nike commercial? No,
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I don't even
Go
have
to
a
all
Fingers
other
crossed.
events.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't
This
even
is
have
just so far
a
away.
passport yet. So like it's gonna, if I'm going to get myself out there, it's going to be
A
it's
rush.
going to be a long stuff.
Katya,
Yeah, a rush. I got a lot
can
of
you
stuff.
add
Oh,
it to
no.
Katya.
Wes's ClickUp
Yeah,
for him to get a
Yeah.
passport?
Yeah, right.
Well, here's the problem. Since I started working with Impact Reality, I'm a recluse now. I never leave my home. I don't ever go to civilization to do stuff like get a passport.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
in virtual reality. Why do you need to leave your house? This is what we do for a
That's
living.
true.
We're in VR, man.
Hey, well, that's an idea. Why don't you guys talk to some of these amazing developers? Katya, why don't you help out? And why don't we do a virtual home of XR somewhere in the metaverse? We've seen this sort of
Oh,
thing
that'd
from
be
like
nice.
That's
Tokyo Game
genius.
Show.
Yeah, Tokyo did a great one last year. It was really good.
Yeah. So maybe that's something. I know it's a little bit of a short notice to do it this year, but maybe next year that might be a way for everyone to attend the virtual home of XR. I don't know.
Yeah, we could
where
have
do
live
it at.
feeds from the booth. Oh man, my brains are going crazy here. That's a great idea.
Yeah, maybe me and Todd will have to bring some 360 and 180 stereoscopic cameras so you guys can experience this home of XR booth all the way in Germany.
Okay, we're
Did you guys
doing
have
this.
cameras now? Oh, what do you
Yes,
guys
yes.
have? What do you have? Just a phone or what?
Now I bought the X4 Insta
X4.
360.
Oh, you got the
Mhm.
Insta 360. So that does that do side by side stereoscopic?
It converts it into VR video, so you can do. I haven't experienced with the VR part yet, but the 360 part works great.
And
Yeah,
I do have a Insta 360 Evo, which does 360
right.
and also native 180 stereoscopic too. So yeah,
I've got a Polaroid, and I'm
Cool
gonna get
ass
really good
Yeah.
shots for you guys.
Polaroid.
I have my Ray-Ban Metas.
Yeah, I'm taking pictures as we're going here.
I can't
So
wait
I've
for
got-
that conference internet to push all that video out. I'm sure
Oh my
that'll
God.
Well,
work.
it might be a later thing, right? It might be afterwards. If we want good high def, because you don't want low def 180 stereoscopic.
No.
So
No, you do not.
we don't
Well,
want that.
that's the
We'll see what we
problem.
can
That's the problem with the Insta 360 Evo and even with mine. I've got the Views XR, and I've got a couple of the Lenovo Mirage stereoscopic VR cameras, but they're all pretty low resolution, relatively speaking. Now they're rated for what you would think is a pretty high resolution. I'm pretty sure yours, Skeeva, is rated for 4K, but it doesn't look like 4K video when you watch it back in the headset. It looks kind of like an old DVD or something, maybe that sort of quality. But Canon is doing a lot in the kind of prosumer space. You know, even just a year ago, it would have been like 10 grand to get a decent stereoscopic camera, but now they're fitting lenses for their traditional cameras so that you can put a dual lens on your regular camera and do stereoscopic video with it. And it's still pretty expensive, a few $1,000s to get the lens, but
But
it's
come
still
down considerably compared to what
yeah,
it was,
yeah,
right? Like the tech is
yeah,
becoming
way
way
more
more
accessible.
reachable for a larger audience, which is great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw that lens. That's pretty sick. It just snaps onto any DSLR Canon camera, obviously at the moment, but that's pretty sick.
Man, we have some awesome people in the chat right now.
Yeah, we
Which
do.
is pretty
Mhm.
rad. And I want to take a second and just ask that everyone head over to xrupdate.com and bookmark that site. I don't know if everyone here has been there, but it's kind of, what spawned this podcast, and it's an incredible site that shows you all kinds of things happening in the industry and all kinds of game recaps and all kinds of good stuff. So go head over there and bookmark that because you should be frequenting it, in my opinion.
Subscribe to
Yeah.
this channel
Yeah,
while you're
do
at
them
it.
all. You do them all. Thumb up, subscribe,
And
Do
we
that.
all
do all the
writing-
things. Click all the things. Hit all the buttons.
Yeah.
Wait,
Except the dislike one. Don't hit that one.
Well, that'll even help the algorithm. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, hit them all. Can you do both? Just
I
do
don't think you
both.
could do both. I wish you could
Like,
both.
both
Like,
at
I'm
the
so
same time.
undecided. I love Eric, but I hate Alex.
Oh, oh man, the gloves are coming off already. Episode 1. So
Alex, just show your award and it's done.
I know that's all I have to do.
That's
all he has to
right?
do is just hold
I'm
it up.
sorry.
I'm stealing that shit.
So
I'm coming to your house.
we should probably make clear a few things up right now, okay? Because right now we're having fun. We got a whole big old party on here. A lot of people are like, "Oh, is this like the successor to the Crewcast?" Blah blah blah. It feels like that right now. That this is kind of a special episode that we're doing right now, where we've pulled as many of us as we can to kind of come in here, introduce XR Update, introduce the team, and kind of just set this off with like a bit of a party vibe. But moving forward, you'll probably see one to three of us hosting a show, and we'll have like pre-recorded episodes with developers that we will play during the episodes. Another thing is we're gonna try to keep this podcast a little bit shorter in duration compared to what we typically do, right? Like you watch Virtual Strangers, you watch Q2C, you watch Between Realities, you're in for 90 minutes at least, you know
and
what I mean?
VR and all that
90
jazz.
minutes.
And
Oh,
VR
yeah,
and all
VR.
that
Did you
jazz.
just say Virtual Strangers was 90 minutes long? Have you not seen that podcast?
At least.
90.
The thing
That's
is
the intro.
a lot of these
Right.
podcasts last for hours.
Exactly.
So we're going to try to keep these a little more succinct, a little more straight to the point. Pop in here, give some news, have a little bit of fun, show an interview, introduce some people to our developer friends, and kind of put a bow on it and call it good. So, I appreciate that everybody's enjoying this, and I certainly am as well. But I just want to set the expectations and kind of let everybody know that this whole vibe right here isn't exactly what you should be expecting from this podcast moving forward. We just wanted to kick it off right.
Yeah, it may happen from time to time.
Yeah.
All of us want to get in here, and then just remember too, the Crewcast is probably going to come back too. Like, so we're not looking to replace that. GT is definitely, I think, going to want to have. We'll try and all of us get together for do Crewcast like, at some point here when things start to heat back up again and schedules permit. But that won't I don't think go away permanently. We're just trying to do something a little bit different. And then you know what? You say Maeva's name, and then bam, she pops up.
Bam.
You think she was
Like
lurking, or
that.
do you think somebody tagged her or something?
I don't know.
She heard us. It was like her ears were ringing and she was like, someone's talking about me.
Yeah, just a little eyeball.
Man, all the nice things we've been saying about her, it's like almost too much. She's gonna let it go to her head. I guarantee it. She's gonna be impossible to work with from now
She
on.
can have it.
Dude,
She can
Maeva
have
is
it.
the absolute best. There's no way she's the
I
best.
know.
Maeva, be sure to scroll back and watch the beginning of the episode, Maeva. We put you over pretty hard.
And honestly,
And for the
guys,
record,
you all have podcasts already, right? And this is finally the first podcast I can be participating. So I'm so
Yay,
excited about
Katya.
this because I was
Katya, you're a
in
podcast.
chat. I'm not stuck here. I'm pushing for this. This is so. I feel like celebrity today. Honestly, that's so nice.
You are a celebrity, Katya.
Oh.
You are.
You're a rock star to all of us.
Yeah, you are.
yeah, you
I
are,
think
and,
I think
that's-
Katya should come every week on this podcast. and
That
do
was
it.
the idea.
Well,
Mhm.
I invited her to come along with me every time that I host,
I
at
will
least
be
until
there.
she gets
It's those podcast legs under her, right?
yeah, gets her
I
legs
know,
comfortable
you
exactly.
taking it on
did.
her own. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she'll be doing 5 hour long podcasts.
Yeah,
Multiple times
exactly.
a week.
4 hours, no sleeping one.
Right, she'll be Roots' next replacement, Eric.
There you go.
Bye,
I like
Roots.
Dude, I love it. I think that's great.
Oh.
We need a fresh face, a makeover, right? Although I don't know how Katya would look with the beard.
I was gonna say,
We'll
there's
see,
little
I guess.
requirement for that role. Yeah.
Did you just tie your hair like this to the bottom?
Oh, there you go. Then you would.
Dude, Roots would look better without the beard. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna throw it out
People
there.
love Roots' beard, dude. That's
Really?
his calling
It's
card.
iconic now. Yeah.
I would shave that face and let me see that beautiful, handsome face of his.
He should just
Just
shave
go
half of
back.
it and let us decide.
Go
like
back
asking
in
Steven to
episodes.
show
You can
his
see
own.
it pretty short.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
back.
Yeah,
like
like
everybody
5
should
years.
go watch Virtual Strangers number 1.
No, don't do that.
Go do that.
It was more awkward than this. Um, so you guys want to tackle a news story before we
Yeah.
sign
Yeah.
off? I feel
Sure.
like we've done a
News.
pretty good job introducing ourselves here. August 5th, less than a month away, Meta is dissolving the AppLab, surprisingly, suddenly getting rid of the infamous AppLab, which is where people who apparently for some unknown reason just don't meet the criteria to be on the official store, where they get sent to kind of just be quiet and don't, whatever you do, don't go to side quest. For whatever reason, that is becoming a thing of the past, and it is being replaced now with a more traditional early access system where something very similar to what Steam does. I think that this is a really good thing for, especially for small and medium-sized independent developers. But I'm really kind of interested. I guess we'll go to you, Eric. What do you think's happening here, and what do you think? What kind of effect do you think that this is going to have on the market as a whole?
This is a more complicated issue than I think most people think. I think your first inclination is to be like, this is great. This is a great thing. You know, the AppLab was a flawed system. It wasn't perfect, but it at least did allow, you know, developers to get their games to the store. The problem with it now, when you get rid of it, two things. It can open you up to a ton of shovelware. And what we don't know yet is the actual curation system and how this is going to work with developers putting titles on the store. Like, what are the levels that you're going to be allowed to put your game? Like, what can you do? Are we going to see the shovelware that we see on Steam or some of these other sites where they have an open system? And then the other downside to it is you are going to have hundreds and hundreds of more titles fighting for spotlight. So what you're going to see now is some of those titles that would automatically go to the store and would already garner their own attention because they're going to the store directly, they will have to fight harder now because there will be a ton more titles in there. So unless you're the big AAA titles that everybody absolutely knows about already, you're going to have to do better in your marketing. You're going to have to step up. It's not going to be, hey, I'm going to the store, so automatically everybody knows about me, because everybody's going to the store. So those titles that were in the middle before, that were like, okay, we can get by because we actually got greenlit to the store, we're not going to AppLab, we can get by on little tiny bits of marketing. That's not going to happen now. Everybody is, it's an open system now. Everybody's going in. So that's why I say it's a good and bad thing.
You know, what's interesting is, like, with us working with so many developers, a lot of them, especially the ones that go to AppLab, are like, you know, they think, well, if only we were going to the official store, if we made it to the official store, we would just make so much money. We would just be like, you know, we would make so many sales. It's just because we're in AppLab. And, you know, and talking to Meta has always been like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, just because you're in the official store doesn't mean you're going to get the right visibility. And I think it'll be really interesting now that this whole AppLab thing's getting dissolved. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know which theory proves right. Like, once it dissolves, all these like AppLab games suddenly just like skyrocket in sales, like they, you know, people have been thinking, or is Meta right that it's like, well, no, you're really going to have to put in the effort to get discovered. Like, I don't know. It's like the gloves are coming off, and all of a sudden, it's a free for all.
I really love how you guys are talking from developer perspective here, because I think that's what we're kind of talking about doing on this podcast. But I am thinking about this from a consumer perspective, you know, like the AppLab and all of that. For a lot of consumers, you have to jump through hoops to find a specific game that you might be looking for, you know, or whatever. And it's like, what's worse, having too many choices on the store or not being able to find the stuff that you're looking for? You know what I mean?
From a consumer level, I think having too many choices is great, but from a developer level, it's terrible.
But you guys
well, there's one thing that's for sure here, and that's if you want to succeed on this store from this point forward, especially, you need to up your marketing game 1,000%. Like, whatever, like, make sure you bake that like budget into your cost now, or you might not be seen. So,
Skeeva, do you think that we could see the Quest store, or I guess it will now be known as the Horizon store, I hear? Do you think we could see it turn into Steam? Like, is it going to be like that, where like there's so many games on Steam now that, I mean, it's kind of flipped, right? Like a year ago, you could find things on Steam, VR games. It was all pretty organized and easy to sort through. But it's gotten to the point now where a lot of the smaller titles kind of fall to the wayside, and you have to search them. It's kind of like AppLab has moved to Steam. Can we now? You think we're going to now see the Horizon store become what Steam was and has been up until now?
I think it will be more like that than it was in the past for sure, because everyone being able to get in. But I think Meta is also going to have a filter system to be able to turn off early access titles specifically, so you can view the games that are that have passed full QA. But at the same time, I'm wondering too if this has a lot to do with them kind of bringing their operating system to different headsets. This all kind of happened around the same time, right? Where they talked about opening the store and licensing the Meta Horizon operating system for other VR headsets. So I don't know. I mean, I think there'll definitely be a lot more in there, and it'll be a little bit harder to find what you need. But at the end of the day, the really popular titles, I think, will rise to the top. So you're going to really need, like I said, you're going to need to up your marketing game, up your quality game. You have to make games that set you aside and set you apart from all the other games out there. But at the end of the day, there's going to be just a lot more content out there for people that bought into the VR ecosystem. So, I think this ultimately will be a good thing.
Katya, did you have a thought on this?
Oh, I think it's a very, very good thing, because guys, don't forget that being on AppLab, you still need to invest lots of money in the marketing, and you cannot, even if you're doing a very, very good job, then still Meta will decide whether you go on the Meta store or not go. But here, if we are all equal, we will let consumer to decide which games are good, which games are not good. And consumer is very, very good and smart with what they're looking for. So from the developer point of view, I think it's an amazing thing. It's like you need to have a good quality game, you invest in marketing, and here you are. And of course, you need to also be close to your community as well, or to community overall. So people don't forget that we are making games for our community. And so at this point, we just have the liberty to be creative, but at the same time, invest in marketing and not wait for Meta to approve us or disapprove. Because on the Meta side also, who is deciding whether the game is good or not?
Yeah, we've been asking that for a while.
Yeah. Right?
Like who's deciding and why? I think that's been the biggest source of frustration for these AppLab developers is, a lot of them get relegated to that when they get rejected from the official store. But historically, they haven't gotten a lot of direction about what's keeping them out. Why can't they cross that threshold and come to the party with everyone else? So this is kind of a good thing from that perspective, that now those studios will have a place on the main store. They'll be searchable now. Todd, that is assuming that the standard doesn't change. Do you think that the baseline standard to get on the store now is going to be the same as it was to get in the AppLab before? Or do we think now that we're on the official store, we're going to see that standard rise a little bit and maybe see some more obscure titles get left out and not get an invitation to the party?
I think the latter is the more beneficial of the answers. I'm hoping that it weeds out some of the games, especially if you've frequented SideQuest or AppLab. There's a ton of games that don't need to be on there. I'm hoping that they raise the bar. I do see that it's going to be difficult to see how easy or hard it is for people to find these early access titles until we see how their filtering system works, that Skeeva mentioned. If there's going to be a featured section just for early access titles, which will kind of act as the AppLab, if you will. What I do think is kind of cool is, because this is all one store, games like Ghost of Tabor, when they were in early access, if this happened a year ago, 2 years ago, it could have been the #1 selling game on the Quest store of all time, and it would have been in early access, which would have been ridiculously good. Not that they needed the help, but can you just imagine an early access title being #1? That would be amazing.
It's funny,
and I think that's going to happen.
It's funny that you bring up that, because we talked to Scott when we were in England for this event, and he talked to a lot of the media. He's not a fan of AppLab going away.
No, he's a little bit concerned with that whole separation going away. He liked that aspect.
He would not have just so you know, even if they offered him to go to the store, he would have went to AppLab anyway, because the game wasn't ready and he knew it wasn't ready.
Right.
But I think that boils down to, how are they going to separate it? There's got to be a clear way when you get to the
Yeah,
site
early access,
that it'll
beta.
be clearly early access. Like even on Steam, it's kind of muddled. It needs to be very clear.
But Jazz, like we know now, especially what we're doing, we know the process of getting on the store and how when you're going to the regular store, that curation process is insanely intense. Like it's so hard. You have levels that you have to hit, and people are checking you all the time, right?
It is very intense. And like the QA process, your game has to be basically done 3 months before it even launches minimum. So you can go through this extensive QA process where they're checking your frame rates, accessibility, all these like features, even just like, when you take off your headset, does the game pause? It's as like detailed as that. And that's outside of, the game itself just being really good.
So we just don't know what that curation process will be now for AppLab or for every game.
It sounds like there won't be one.
I mean, there will still be a curation process for the store. So if you're going to the store, not
really
to get rid of the
not
early
early
access,
you'll still have that very stringent process that you have to go through. I guess my question is it just we don't know this yet? Like I don't know. Is it just like, hey, Steam? You can get with $100, you're on Steam. There is no curation. You need $100.
It won't be like
$100
that.
$100
It won't be like that.
Games on the store.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like that. I tend to agree with Todd here. I think that the very bottom bar will probably raise a little bit. I think we'll probably see a little bit less shovelware than we're seeing right now on AppLab. But I don't know what that means for the stuff that's already on there, because there's already a lot of trash on the AppLab if you search through it. But there's a lot of good stuff too. I mean, who would have thought that this would be how an all-time classic like To the Top made its way onto the MetaQuest store all these years later? It's going to be on the official Quest store for the first time ever, and it's just because of policy changes at Meta. And Skeeva, to your point, I do think that this is in part meant to kind of mimic and mirror their move to a more open platform. They're taking the Quest platform in general out and letting other hardware companies manufacture hardware. So I think they're mimicking that move with their store. But I also think that this has a little bit of something to do with the need to push the MR feature. This is the future. This is what they want to push right now with regard to their hardware and their software. But in order to do so, we're really kind of taking a step back in terms of the scope of the apps, right? A lot of these MR apps are like the tech demos that we saw from VR back in 2016 and 2017. And technically stuff like that right now belongs on the AppLab. So by getting rid of that distinction and letting everything on the main store is going to essentially have the effect of having a flood of new MR content be searchable on the traditional store. So
I think this is so great. I really do, because let's say that happens. There's a huge flood of a bunch of MR stuff, and everyone's like, holy crap, look at all these MR applications. Let's try them. And then everybody starts firing them up, and then somebody finds something good and they leave a review and they're like, holy crap, this is insanely good. And then people see that review and it'll rise to where it needs to be. Like, I think this is really badass. Like, I know it's not an open system or whatever, but it resembles an open system way more than what was happening previously. Like, I could make an app and for whatever, for $100 or maybe even for free, put it into early access and tell all my friends and be like, all right, guys, I just made this super hilarious app. Let's all jump into it. And like, we all go do that. And it's easy. Like, I can just find it, download it, and go. Like, to me, that sounds like a much better experience as a user of the device. So I don't know. I'm kind of getting excited about it.
Yeah.
Paradise Decay in the chat says the last MR experiences I've been trying have been amazing. Katya, you recently got your very first Quest 3 headset.
Oh
and
my
you've
God.
been playing around with it a little bit. Have you had a chance to do any of the MR stuff in there yet?
Of course, yes, I've tried. But even overall, the full experience, I've been stuck on Quest 2 for a while, but I also tried all other headsets before, except for the Quest 3, which unfortunately I didn't have for a while. And just the first time I put it on, and it was mind-blowing. All the experience is just so amazing. Now I cannot wait to try also V-Rider on it because it's like, oh, I just really want to try. But you guys, Quest 3 is just the whole next level. It's not even comparable to Quest 2. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So thank you for sending me Quest 3, my awesome team. Love you all.
Welcome to the 21st century.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
right.
Yeah, for sure. I
It
just
feels
want
like
to point
the
out that
future.
I just want to point out that Maeva said in chat that so for AppLab, you will still have to go through VRCs. So if you don't know, VRCs are virtual reality checks. So they will, and she said for early access will be increased. So the VRCs will be even more increased for early access. So it won't be just any
A
free for
free-for-all.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you, Jasmine? You seem to be an expert on the topic here. I did read about these VRCs in some of the articles over the past week, but I didn't know really what they meant by that. Are these the things that you were talking about a minute ago with the checking the frame rates and all of this other stuff?
Mhm. And making sure that it runs well, that people aren't going to like start vomiting after they get in there, that you're not just like your body's not clipping through a bunch of random things. Like there's all these little things that you won't even think about. Like, and then if you actually press the Oculus button, that it like pops open, like it pauses the game, and that you have like a resume button once you come back in from the menu. There's all these like little tiny things that you wouldn't think about. You're just so focused on the game and trying to make the game good, but there's a lot of things that you have to pass.
They're also doing a very good job with accessibility, that the game can be played with just one hand, sitting position for certain games, like colorblind people. So it's really good. They do an intense check.
And like the accessibility I was talking about, can you play it seated with standing up, a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, like black screen, load screen times. Those are all things that you have to go through virtual reality. They never want you to see black screen for an extended period of time, or if you have overly long load screen times with nothing on the screen. Those are the things that go into that too. So it's intense.
Yeah, one thing that I'm interested to see, with. Oh crap! I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Let's keep going.
Well, it's intense.
Oh wait, I remembered. Sorry. What I was gonna say was right now to get into the official store, they only allow like a handful of games to release every single week, and it's always on the Thursday. But now that you can just go to the official store, does that mean you can release whatever day of the week you want? Does that mean that there's no limit anymore on how many release? If I just want to launch a game tomorrow, can I just release a game? Obviously not tomorrow, after August 5th.
Yeah. I think some things are up in the air. We just don't know yet. I assume that Thursdays will still be relegated to the official store releases, but you just don't know. We'll have to see.
People in the chat calling for board games for MR. It is a great application for that. By the way, even stuff like Demio or Miracle Pool, anything that kind of works out on a flat surface is a perfect application for MR. But VRified Game says D&D would be a huge win, and it certainly would for MR, but that would just be cool enough in VR. And on that note, I would just have you kind of watch our socials over the next little bit.
Wait,
we might have something.
I thought Resolution was doing something with D&D.
Yeah, actually, Resolution is doing an official D&D.
They are,
game next year, I think, or maybe.
And you can hop into Riff XR right now and go play Dungeons and Dragons in full AI mode, and it's so sick with a whole bunch of your friends. You can do that today.
Take the words right out of my mouth, That's literally what I was trying to work. That's literally what I was trying to work up to is Riff XR, which is available currently on Steam. I think
it was the four of us, me, you, Eric, Skeeva, Genghis, Wise. There's a bunch of us in there. We went in and played D&D, and oh my god, was it hilarious! It was so much fun.
They have a full-on AI dungeon master in there that runs the game for you, and you just talk to it and role play. It's pretty sweet.
I want to play.
It's
cool. It was
on Friday.
Well, it's currently free on Steam. Again, watch our socials in the coming days. I had
Do you
something
guys
else. And
do you guys want to breeze through one more topic and then wrap this thing up?
Oh, you know what? Can we do something quick before we get to the next topic? Can I do a PR box opening live?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yes,
I've got a
please.
kick-ass
Please.
PR box that I
Oh,
just got
exciting.
that our amazing team put together at Impact Reality for VRider. Want to take a look?
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Wait till you
Sweet
see
Eric,
this thing, bro. We opened it up on Virtual Strangers.
Oh, did you
yesterday,
really? You already
and
did it? Well, let's do
yeah.
it here.
Aw.
Wes,
Alright.
can
It
you-
was amazing.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
VRider SBK is a new game on the Quest, by the way. That is a superbike simulation experience, which is an officially licensed SBK superbike experience. So it's kind of like the NASCAR of motorcycles, but there it is in VR now for
Yeah.
everybody to enjoy. It's really cool.
Track me.
I
There you go.
Unlock me.
You look
I would
amazing,
say-
Eric.
Unlock me.
I would say, Alex, that VRider SBK, and this isn't just me saying this because it's a client, legitimately is the most legit sim racer on the Quest platform. Like
Mhm.
it's fully featured and has high production value. It has top-notch production quality. It's just a very impressive.
Yeah, it's not even close, man. Like it is the best. There's nothing else on the Quest that is that good as far as
Right.
racing is
Unboxing.
concerned.
Okay, let's
See
go.
my address? No, I'm just kidding. Drives like Eric's address. Cannot see my address. No, it's public knowledge. All right, ready?
So
How
open
excited
the
are
orange thing first. Open the
Orange
orange
thing?
thing first.
I will say too, like just so you know, Katya had a huge hand in making this kit, and Mr. Tasselhoff, who works quite a bit, on part of our team doing the sourcing and a lot of this stuff. And then who else worked on it, Katya?
Yeah, mainly the two of us, but of course also the rest of the team was there to support and share the
A lot of
ideas.
hands in that.
Mhm.
I mean, Katya, this particular PR box, we've done a lot of them, but this one was has quite a long story in coming to the market, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, but it's, yeah, it's been some long road
There's
been more
to
headaches
have
with this
this,
PR
but the
box
idea
than
Oh,
any
this
other
is a
one.
badass poster, right?
Mhm.
Oh man, this
Indeed
thing
it
is
is.
awesome.
Like you cannot have PR box without a poster. You should
This thing
have
is
something on
sick.
your wall.
And it's the same
Wow.
material poster that we did for the box for Max Mustard. So it's like that
Yeah, it's like-
canvasy material.
It's like vinyl. I think this
Yeah,
is
like
even more
vinyl.
heavy duty. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is even more heavy duty than the Max Mustard one was.
You should frame
Like,
it.
Oh, I
I
definitely
thought
will.
for a minute that this was like a fathead or something because it was so thick. But
Yeah.
no, it's just a super heavy duty vinyl poster.
No, that's awesome. Great poster. I definitely will frame it. I'm gonna frame the Max Mustard too. I got them over here somewhere.
Mhm.
Cool. All right.
What's next?
There's,
Next.
Yes,
there's
come
stuff
on.
in that paper too, by
Oh,
the
yeah.
way.
Like
Mhm.
I almost threw that away. I didn't know there was anything in there. Roots saved me from throwing it away.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, God,
Not
yeah, look at this.
careful.
Oh,
Okay, so we got. Oh, you know what? I should do this right now. You guys
You
ready?
should.
You guys
Yes.
get your fingers ready?
Woo.
All right, you ready? You want a game key or VRider? Here we go.
Yes.
Got to be quick. Ooh, focus.
Out of
blurry.
focus. Out of focus.
Sorry, it's
Blurry.
Back it
blurry.
up. Back it
don't-
up.
Back
Back it
up.
up.
Blurry.
Back up,
Back
back
it
up.
up.
We don't
back
know
it
what
up.
you're showing. It's blurry,
Oh.
bro.
Oh,
Okay.
here,
There it is.
Got it.
here.
7FX9C NHHHE RXJ4W G66P9 PP444.
VRider. Hell yeah.
That is whoever cops that is in for a treat.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
For
Hell
real.
yeah. Dude, that is badass too. Did Tass make that? Or
Yes, he
did
made
that?
it
Look how thick
himself.
that
So
thing is.
good.
I know. We wanted
How thick
something
it is.
rough because the rubber and
Yeah, it's like
he came up with this
almost
idea.
bendable. But yeah, it's kick-ass
Mhm.
keychain. I love it. And then like tons of killer
Yeah.
stickers. Like
Yeah.
awesome VRider stickers. Oh man, there's tons of them. Very cool.
Do you have these stickers
Yeah.
plastered all over your bike, Katya?
No.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
Just say
I'm
yeah.
gonna put this in
Just
the
say yes.
chat. Yeah. But I
I
have,
almost drove my bike to work today. I was so excited, and then and then I couldn't. I was sad.
So this is my favorite part of this box, and like, how awesome is this that you can
I know.
freaking get like a helmet? Like, look at this thing.
I'm super jealous, dude.
Oh my god!
Aw.
Look at this.
Oh man,
It's
that's
a
cool.
kick-ass
So
bag.
what's
Oh, it's all tied up.
Wear it. Wear it.
Oh, you want me to put it on?
Of course. We need
have a
to see
broken
how
tooth.
you look
Oh,
as
no.
a biker.
Eric doesn't know how to untie something. It's gonna take forever.
Oh.
This is like
All right, get
Get some
relaxed,
scissors,
everybody.
Eric.
This will take a while.
Eric's under the influence. Cut him some slack.
I am too. I'm all drugged up. I took
He's
a
just
huge ibuprofen
excited.
and a hydro before the show started. Look how badass this thing
Oh my
is, man.
god.
This
Oh,
is
That looks
yeah.
freaking
beautiful.
cool. Like,
That
This
is
is like-
awesome.
it's not.
Oh
my
big.
gosh, that's
This is not
beautiful.
like go ride your bike with this helmet, but damn it, you could almost ride your bike with this helmet.
It's pretty
It's got to be
sick.
better than
Oh,
nothing.
look at that. Look
Yeah,
at the
right?
bike rider.
That's
This
so
is
dope.
freaking
That's
badass.
pretty
Okay,
sweet.
you
Wear it.
guys,
You
I have an
have-
idea. I'm gonna wear this helmet while riding my bicycle.
Oh my god.
God, do it. Film it.
Video of it.
I don't know if I can get this.
That's
Well,
crazy.
Congratulations. You have
Yeah.
succeeded in making everybody who does not have that jealous.
By the way, Eric, there's another item inside the helmet too.
Yep.
Oh, is there? Oh shit! This is probably my favorite thing of all.
Uh-huh. What is
Oh my
it?
gosh, you're taking so long. Faster.
He's
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
That looks really good. That's a neat hat.
Heck yeah!
That turned out good. Yeah.
All right, what was on the topic, Alex?
Just quickly, because again, like I feel like we should kind of start to wrap this thing up. Even though I am having a lot of fun, this is great. I could do this all day. Like literally, I could do this all day.
Yeah, for real.
But it seems like the Quest 3, they're trying to make it easier for people to get their hands on one. As we speak, the Quest 3 128 gigabyte model is $70 off of its typical price on Amazon.
Whoa.
So if only we
Nice.
would have waited a couple of weeks to buy Katya's, we could have saved $70. And the other thing is that it appears that they're going to be offering this play now, pay later system, where if you want a Quest 3, you can get a 2-year agreement to pay $25 a month to get into the Quest right away, which I think is
Oh,
really
wow.
interesting. Because
And
is kind of
I
a
think
no-brainer.
it comes with Quest Plus, so you get games to play every month, right?
Wow.
It does, Brett. It does.
This is
For
literally
$25, you can
That's
get
good.
in.
That's amazing.
this is literally the Xbox model. The
Yeah.
latest
Yep.
Xbox console launched with exactly this, where you could get the console up front, make payments on it, and they give you Game Pass with it, so you don't have to have any games. They'll give you the games to play. I think this is great, and I think it makes even more sense for a VR platform than it was made for even Xbox.
I just have to share that I am still paying later my Apple Vision Pro. That makes so expensive.
You'll be doing that for a while.
Yeah, I think it was a 12-month plan. I was like, I'm not paying $4,000+ all in one go.
But, you know,
Anyway.
imagine you've got 2 kids, you know, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and they've been knocking on the door, mom and dad, we want VR, we want VR. And like, you're looking for the time to jump in. You're not really sure. It's a pretty hefty price tag to pick up 2 Quest 3s. I know Skeeva just got a Quest 3 for his daughter, and that was not cheap. So
Aw.
to be able to drop $25 twice, $50 a month, both of my kids are in the most recent, most badass headset that's available. Like,
Yeah.
Marketing
makes
genius.
sense.
Disclaimer though, that if your kid is 10 to 12, and you make them an account with that, they cannot join MetaQuest parties, they can't play multiplayer. And if you try to give them a false birthday, Meta requires within 30 days that you supply identification to prove that kid is over 13 years old, or they disable the account.
Oh,
It's not 13 anymore, though, is it? I think it's a 10 now.
It's 10.
Yeah, but like I said, at 10 you cannot join MetaQuest parties, you can't play
Okay.
multiplayer.
yeah.
You have to be over
can't-
13
You,
for
you
that
still
part.
have to be 13,
So-
though, even though they made it.
Yep.
So that doesn't make sense to me.
So-
Why make it 13? If you're
10
going
to play
that, then you need
games.
to open it up at 10.
No, the 13 thing was always about VR is bad for your eyes for developing children, and they've realized that's not true. So now they've dropped that to 10. But they're
Oh, it
saying
is absolutely true, but
13-year-olds now need to.
it-
But
it's
this is
going to be a
America.
thing. that's kind of the impact that varifocal lenses are going to have on the next generation. Is it's going to pretty much eliminate this this need to have an age limit on it. Um, I mean, it's not scientifically proven that it damages your children's eyes, but your children's eyes are developing during this period, so they think that it's a potential danger, a potential hazard to have children spending large amounts of time basically focusing their eye on a single plane for long amounts of time at once. Um,
Wait, so
but I think
Skeeva, so with your daughter's, I mean, you don't have to answer this question, I guess, but like, how did you set it up? Like, because I know you want to play multiplayer.
So originally we set it up as a 10-year-old account, and then she couldn't play with her friends. So the headset was useless. Her friends are on there. They're playing online. They're having a good time. And that's what she wants to do. She wants to play with them. She wants to play Gorilla Tag. She wants to play Monkey Do. Like, these are the games that she wants to play, right? And she could not. So we had to set up a new account that's 13 and put in a different birthday. But now they are turning her account off tomorrow because I cannot produce a government ID with her age
so
on
weird.
it.
Wow.
And or she needs a credit card with her name on it, which
At 13?
13-year-olds don't have anyway.
Just open her up her credit card then. Come on, Dad.
So let me ask you, Skeeva, are they just doing this because you had a 10-year-old account and now
No.
moving to a 13?
No, this is a standard thing that all accounts have to be age verified. This happened in April of 2024, I believe. So when you put in your credit card, this automatically verifies your age too, right? So if you don't have a credit card in the system, you're not age verified unless there is a form to send them ID, and then it takes up to 4 days for them to verify the ID. It has to be government. There is a way to do non-government IDs, and then you need to do a couple of them, and then wait to have them verified. But it's a pain. It is a pain for
From
kids.
a Canadian, what do Americans have at 10 years old that's a government ID? Our kids don't get any government IDs.
You can go to the
Maybe a
registry and you can get a state ID.
Oh,
They will also accept some school IDs.
okay, we have those. Yeah, okay.
So I guess mom
it
and
doesn't
dad
have
have quests until these kids turn 13, because
Or
that
I
is a
mean,
pain.
you can. I mean, my children all have their own accounts, but I guess we're grandfathered in because we made these accounts years ago. But they're we have a lot of headsets here. We've got 4 different Quest headsets here, and sometimes they want to play a game that isn't on a shared library, or maybe the headset that has it on a shared library someone else is using. So I mean, I just let them play on my account. Typically is what I do in that. And normally they don't mind doing that.
Yeah, my kid was doing that for a very long time, and then every time I'm playing a game, I get 75 messages and MetaQuest calls trying to get me to join Monkey
Right.
Do and Gorilla Tag, and it's destroying my VR experience.
Well, what you do is you go into your privacy settings and you make it so that you appear offline. I'm offline 100% of the time, as far as everyone knows.
No wonder I can never find you, Wes.
He's incognito.
Yeah.
Should we
All
go
right,
offline?
That's what I was about to say. I think that's our time. I want to thank everyone in the chat who showed up to experience this inaugural episode with us. I want to thank each and every one of you who my lovely guests and partners for making this such a special episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks, right? And I believe Alex will be the host then.
Yes.
Do we want to spill what that's going to be yet, or have we finalized it?
No,
Let's
not
not
yet.
spill anything.
Secret,
No spilling.
but it's
Everyone-
awesome.
Everyone be sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe, because I promise you're not going to want to miss what's coming up on this channel. So subscribe, ring the bell, and if you had fun during the last hour at some point, click the thumbs up as well.
And tell your friends.
Yeah, definitely.
And go bookmark xrupdate.com because it's awesome. For real.
Mhm.
For real.
Click all
Yeah.
the things.
For reals.
Yeah, Wes,
Z.
like who do we got writing for XR Update? Who what are you gonna see if you go to XR Update real quick?
Well, we're recently, I mean, it's been me and Todd for the longest time, but we recently had Bobby Carlton join us on XR Update as a correspondent, and that's been really great for us because
Yeah,
he's
big
been someone who's been in the industry for a very long time. He's written for multiple publications, and he has a unique perspective, and oftentimes brings unique subject matter to the table. So we're not super frequent with our articles. We put a few a week up, but typically what we put up is pretty good. So you guys might want to keep an eye on that space as well.
And if you're
Yeah.
out there wondering how you can make a contribution to the VR space, and maybe you're a good writer, feel free to ping XR Update, maybe ping Wes, and share some articles with us, because who knows, maybe there's a spot for you somewhere on there.
Yeah,
And
message us.
I saw Brad tweet out the other day that he's working on some kind of an article, and it hurt my feelings that we're not publishing it.
No.
Did you ask
Yeah,
him?
anyway. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Not recently. I'll say that. Not recently.
I know him. I can call him and ask him for you.
You know Brad?
I did.
Anyways,
He lives in
that's our show,
Wisconsin.
folks. Well, yeah, that I still can't get my head around that because that's Florida, man. If I ever met one, right?
Yeah.
But he's up in the Great White North now.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thanks
Anyway,
for joining us, everybody.
that's our show, everyone. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. And with that said, for Alex and Jasmine and Skeeva and Katya and Todd and Eric, I'm Wes. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.